Hello, and welcome to the final hours of the 24-hour Indy Radio podcast. And you're about to hear. Hello, and welcome to the final hours of the. Sorry about that. Okay, so these are the final hours of the 24-hour podcast. I can't believe that I'm awake still. And I'm not really sleepy that you would think I would be, right? I'm not really sleepy, but you know what? I feel pretty decent. I feel like I'm gonna probably lay down when this is over, and I'm probably not gonna go to sleep right away. Well, who knows? I might just do that. So, but we'll find out. But I want to first start off by thanking all the parties that have been involved. I probably should do this for the last part, but I'm gonna do it now, because I want to make sure that I thank everybody that helped participate and make this happen. Of course, I want to first start off by thanking both Shannon and Jen, my two lovely co-hosts, who worked tirelessly to help put this on, who stayed up all night, who put up with my craziness. Well, I'm not that crazy, right? I don't know, when I said that, we should do this, y'all didn't say I was crazy, or maybe you did behind my back, who knows. I want to thank you ladies so much. And then let me just thank everybody that participated individually. Dr. Vibe, Josh, Ramsey, Q Vergara, Stephanie, Steph, Audrey, Tracy, Leah, the life coach, Aaron, both Aarons, Aaron Riggs and Aaron Goins, who came through on his birthday. I want to thank both of them. I want to thank as well Madeline, who was in the beginning, Olaf, Grayson, who came through. I want to thank, let's see, I want to make sure I don't forget anybody. Oh, Ava Laura, who was awesome, who came through and helped out.
Bye.
I want to thank my little cheat sheet is not trying to open. I want to thank
all of our sponsors.
Yeah, hey, right, all the different sponsors. I want to thank Alan Newman for sure. Yes, he came through. Lauren Hazel. I want to thank Brooklyn as well. L.A. Wade. If you didn't see her show, her and Cashmere. That's another good, thank her for coming through. And I just want to thank everybody that listened and watched and stuck with us the whole time. I just want, I really appreciate it, because to be honest with you, I don't know how people were going to, when I first said this last year, I don't know how people were going to react. I didn't know if people were going to be like, dude, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they don't see the vision, and maybe that, they think, who knows, right? But I said, you know what? My idea is I really want to do something for the community of all of us, because I respect everybody.
Yeah.
In a very serious way. Like it really, I'm not one of those people who don't want to see people succeed and don't want to see people grow and all of that. There's enough room and space for everybody.
That part.
And, so what I would hope that this is, and Ryan too, I'm so sorry, I forgot Ryan, is I just really wanted to be a part of something that hopefully can get more exposure for people. Oh, and Crystal Tucker as well. Who I don't know if y'all didn't see her show.
Crystal Tucker.
Crystal Tucker, where she talked about
like she could be for short Chris Tucker. Like
you know what? I never thought that. That is Chris Tucker. That is Chris Tucker. Right. Hilarious. I never thought about that. But she talked about being blind and starting to learn how to paint.
Yeah.
And
That's dope.
it's just I mean, I knew her story, but listening to, I never heard it like that. And it's just so moving, and there was like a lot of great moments tonight. There was a lot of just really fun, great moments. And I'm sitting here thinking, at some point, I only really had one opportunity to kind of sleep. And that was very little. So,
did you have an opportunity to use the bathroom?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we
definitely.
used the bathroom today.
Definitely, I definitely went and used the bathroom a couple of times. So I wasn't gonna get through 24 hours without that. So
I almost forgot to though earlier. I was like, do I want to go to the bathroom or do I want to go to bed?
Yeah, it's not like before when I was a young man where I could hold, I could hold. Now it's like you gotta go to the bathroom. Like you can't play around. So because I don't want to be a story. Like, remember when Kinte was doing that 24-hour show and he peed on himself? So it's just
astronauts do it all the time.
Depends would have worked too. No, that oh my god, and I just want you guys to realize how much I do admire all of you, and it's just thank you guys so much. So for this last part of the show, there's not going to be no form or format or anything like that. We probably exhausted every topic known to man. But I really just, the theme is obviously, it's almost always going to be what the new year, what we want to do for the new year. A lot of the shows today, we tackled that. And, the Dr. Vibe show was great. Talking about what's the one word for 2020. We started out really awesome with that. And I'm not going to keep going over things that we talked about before. But, so many of you guys have so many awesome things that you guys are into and doing and trying to accomplish. And, from, the great news that Shannon shared with us, and so proud of you, Shannon. Yeah, I like to see you happy, we all want to see you happy. We want to see you, with that Shannon smile on your face and all of that, so, just.
I get what you're talking about. What I share with you.
Well, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying, just that that your career is going a certain way and all that.
Oh, yeah. I hired my last full-time employee last week. Yes, Lord.
That's awesome. And in this, brother, Andre, 2019, you had a lot of great things popping for you, bruh.
And he's still fine in 2020. Yes, Lord.
I mean,
2020 for me is a year of closing gaps. So 2019 was completing goals, and I was able to go exceed the goals that I set out to meet. And now it's all about closing gaps, and hopefully by 2021, January, those gaps will be filled. That's what this year is all about. Filling gaps. Yeah. So, but I thank God, because God is good. 2019 wasn't the worst year for me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the best year for some people. So I don't like really talking too much about my successes because sometimes it could seem insensitive. But we all go through things in different points in our life, and it's a matter of learning. And I want to see everybody win. And if I can help somebody succeed in some way, I'm there for them.
And this lady, Miss Jen,
Shannon, dope.
She
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know if I told this story. I might have, or parts of it. That my site basically got raped, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know any other way to put it, right?
Yeah.
And just it was hacked,
Right.
and it was full of all kind of boo boo. And I remember going to Jen, and I was so frustrated because I had something like that happen, but this was like 9 times worse. And I remember I went to Jen, and I was so freaking frustrated. I was just like, you know what? F the site. I don't even need a site. I was like, burn it. I was just so tired. And I was just like, I just didn't want to deal with it no more and all of this. And Jen was like, hold on, let me take a look. And then she's like, I can save it and do this, and I can help you with the security and blah, 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 blah. And I was just so done with it. And I know I probably gave her such a hard time during that process because I was just so like, it's just like, why are you effing with my site? I ain't nobody. Why are you of all the people in the world, me? And I know it's not personal. It's not like somebody was sitting in Russia going, yeah, we're going to F with Kinte and Indy Radio.
It was Russia?
I don't know if it was Russia. I don't think Putin was like, yeah, we're going to mess with the Democrats and Kinte.
This is a good time on the podcast to say, Russia, if you're listening, we have stuff on Indy Radio.
Right. And Stephanie, I sent you a link. Come on. But and Steph and Jen held my hand, listened to me pout, and she really worked her magic. And you might have took somebody girl in Russia. Hilarious. And kudos to Jen because she wanted me to change to like a different server. And I just didn't want to do it because I'm like, another server? I'm just like, oh my, I was just like, man, F these servers, Yeah. But, she talked me into doing it. It was the best thing. And the site is beautiful if you haven't seen it. And thanks to Jen, and she worked her magic. And anybody who needs a website, Jen is not like one of those. Okay, do you have these people out there who say they make websites? All they do is manipulate templates. I ain't that bright, and I can do that. But Jen is actually a real legit web developer who can code and has, she's like legit. She's probably like, someone the CIA probably want on the squad, So she's Jason Bourne's sister. So with the computer.
I actually work for the accountant.
The accountant. But so
this is why you don't actually see my face. You only see a picture because. I can't actually let my true identity out.
I believe it.
Listen, Kinte,
Uh-huh.
I and Shannon and everybody else. I got it. I said this before we started recording, but this needs to go into part of the record. So, there's this meta effect, right? That podcasts, especially podcasts that are sort of self-awareness, can have on people. And I think it speaks to the power of listening to other people and processing through what they are saying and how it might relate to your life. And, it's not always apparent how that might happen, but as you're listening, things filter through. And, you, especially when people say things from a personal standpoint, you're more apt to pick them up and say, hey, this, has some bearing on my life. And I got to say that over the course of the past 24 hours, I've heard a lot of guests speak and heard a lot of coming together, meeting of the minds, discussions about 2020, discussions about, what needs to happen for everybody in their lives and stuff. And from a really strange meta context, the podcasts that I have been listening to, monitoring, making sure everything is going okay and nobody needs help and whatever, really have profoundly changed me over the past 24 hours. And I didn't walk into this thinking that that's what would happen, but I'm on the other side of this, and I have a brand new vision for where I want to be in 2020. And that is thanks to every single guest that was here and all of the really good discourse that was happening. So thank you to everybody for participating in that. You don't know how you're going to change a person. And if you just put out your best, sometimes really amazing things happen. So I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Aww. Well, that's what we hope to do. That's what we hope to provide is that entertainment, of course, first. That's why, my wonderful wit is on display. That's like to draw you in. But then I hit you with the whammy bammy, that deep insight, that you can only get here from me. You know what I'm saying? So, and then another thing too is like, I love to terrorize Shannon. She takes it so well.
Say it again.
She takes it so well.
Terrorize, guys.
I would say she's the little sister I never had, but I got Miosha, and she's a little littler than you, so. So
in both age and stature.
Right. So she's the one I get to put in a headlock, and I put Shannon in the mental headlock. So
never be able to put me in a headlock.
Yeah, I put you in the mental headlock.
Just agree, Shannon. It'll all go by much faster. It's okay.
It would not be our relationship if I agreed with that foolishness.
One day she gonna agree.
You was about to make me a sister wife earlier, Jen. You was like,
I heard that.
Yeah. Okay, so look, I'm in Los Angeles. The weather here is great. Always.
Not as great as where I'm at.
You're in Florida, in the Key West, where the 1%ers live. Now, Andre, you're in New York, so what's the weather like there now?
We had snow yesterday. Today, it's some snow flurries. Right now, it's 30 degrees.
What about you, Jen? What's the weather like where you at?
Oh, come on. That's really not fair. You're going to end up with people hating me. It is, all my doors and windows are open. It's
I know that's
breezy.
right.
It's a little bit chilly, and by that I mean it's probably about maybe 72. It's
Where
sunny
are
and
you?
green
What city?
outside. What else can I say? The sunset is particularly gorgeous right now.
So you're in the West Coast if you see a sunset.
She's a Hawaii.
I'm in Hawaii. It's almost 6:00, and
why am I even on this?
Hilarious. Why when I think of Hawaii, I think of a pig on a spig,
a luau?
Yeah, luau, yeah. I always think that. I just have a feeling I go to Jen's house and that's what she's gonna offer is like
roast pig,
right?
I mean, I can't show up in Hawaii.
We can get some catered.
You can take Kinte.
I don't eat pork, but you know what? When in Rome, no. When in Hawaii.
Listen, we'll get something catered, and we'll, instead of doing Kahlua pork, we'll do Kahlua sweet potatoes. Okay?
Oh, okay. All right, we can do that. My thing is this: when you live in Hawaii, what's a vacation like though?
Like, where do you go to vacation?
Right. It's like
We go to New York.
we go to New York for vacation.
No lie. We go to New York.
Not in the
That's all
wintertime.
my family- All my families have. No, you don't go to New York in the wintertime. Because there's a difference between I want to go to New York and go visit my family and I want to stay sane and not freeze to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any like seasons where the weather is like really bad? And
Yeah.
if you do, what does it look like?
It's rainy. It's like rainy every single day. But I mean, even when it's rainy every single day, there's always some
Is that it?
sunshine. Yeah,
It's
that's pretty much
every
it.
day. That's
I think the trade-off is when you live in Hawaii. First of all, everything is insanely expensive. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, it's insanely expensive everywhere." You know, it costs a lot of money to live in San Francisco, and I'm like, no. It is not consistently as expensive to live in San Francisco as it is in Hawaii because you have different kinds of market opportunities. And here we are so limited to what we can buy. Whatever's here is what we get.
Yeah.
That's one piece.
And
then
if you get it from the States or states, they're going to hike up for shipping. And if you get it from another country, there's that duty and all that stupidness. So.
And that's the other thing. The other thing is everything takes forever to get here. So, you kind of have Amazon is like everybody's best friend.
So you guys have 2-day shipping in Amazon too? And Hawaii
it's
too?
never 2-day shipping with Amazon. It's more like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay.
But it's still
I don't know if I can live with that. I'll deal with winters as long as I can have my 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
And we're never going to get drone service here.
I gotta get same day.
FYI.
Look,
I don't know if I want drone service. I think that's one of the most ridiculous shipping methods that Amazon can say they're coming out with. Like, I wouldn't trust it.
She says, "Oh, true. Hawaii has San Fran beat any day. Yeah, that's for sure."
It's pretty, and also the other thing that happens in Hawaii, and I don't think people realize so much, is it's so rural here. And I don't mean rural like you're in downtown Kansas, but I mean like our base population is like 144,000 people for the entire island. That's not a lot,
I remember you had a volcano scare, right? Was that last year?
Yeah. Well, that on the Big Island, right? It was a lot.
It was kind of crazy too, because like we were supposed to do a show or something, and she said, "Oh, I just want you to know, there's a volcano erupting, so there might be a problem." I'm like, "What?" What?
Well, wait. The problem. I'm on another island, so I'm not on an active volcano island. Right?
Oh, okay.
The problem was that our communications at the time were so bad because that's another thing about living in Hawaii. It's one of the reasons, again, other than my silly reason that I worked as an accountant, that you only see my picture because the communications end up being so garbled and it's always freezing. It's always it's just
like the
bad.
Caribbean.
Right.
Yeah, it's just bad. Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm like a volcano though is.
You trying to move to Hawaii, Andre?
I'm just saying, how much do they pay teachers? Like, I have a national certification. I can go anywhere in the 50 states. I'm just saying, like, how much do teachers get paid in Hawaii? Cricket.
That's a question for Jen.
Jen, did we lose you, Jen?
She was just talking about how the communication's shoddy.
Yeah. All right, Jen, just let us know when you are back.
Yeah, then I don't know if I can do it, no matter how much they pay. If I don't have like consistent Wi-Fi and internet and 2-day shipping, I can't live there. I don't care how warm and beautiful the climate is. I need 2-day shipping and good Wi-Fi. Period.
Yeah. Press 1 in the chat if you've ever been to Hawaii, any of the islands there. Put it in the chat.
I'm not. I would like to go.
Yeah. He said, "Don't threaten me with a good time." Hilarious.
Yeah. How come I'm not seeing the comments come up on
Like, let me ask you this question, Shannon. What sounds better to you? Oh, Bobby's been there. What sounds better to you, to go on a trip like to Hawaii with your homegirls, or like a place like like one of those Caribbean trips, or Hawaii or something with your homegirls when you're single, or is it better to go with your dude and experience with your man?
That's a trick question for me because I would want to do both. I mean, I would want to go with my girlfriends because there's something about girl time that I really do treat and honor and love. But there's also nothing like spending time with your man. So,
well, I mean, if you're single and you go with your homegirls, there's nothing tying you. So whatever happens, happens, right? While you're away.
See, but I don't like that.
But does it count though? Because Hawaii is technically in the United States. That's part of the United States. That only works when you leave the actual country. That's established. That's when that works. Like what happens in in Cuba, Cuba, Hawaii.
People go on girls trips down the street to Hilton Head, South Carolina. People they be doing so. But that's just not my friendship culture, so we're not doing none of that.
I know, all right, fellas in the chat, is it better to go with your woman on one of those kind of exotic trips, or is it better to go as a single man with no attachments?
It's better to go when you can go. How about that?
Yeah. So if I'm single, it's better to go when I'm single.
Right. It's like bringing sand to the beach.
If I'm married, if I'm married, I'm not trying to. I want to go with my wife and have fun with my wife. But I'm not traveling anywhere unless you're my wife anyway. Right. That's me though.
Yeah. Welcome back, Jen.
That part, hey Jen.
Yeah. So just in the same sort of, this is what happens. That's exactly what happens.
It was funny. Dre was trying to out they pay teachers. And
you Dre was asking you a question.
It was the god. The demigod. The demigod Maui was messing with my connections and trying to just make sure that I knew he was boss.
Yeah.
That was
he was asking a question, do the teachers make good money there?
Oh, there's actually a teacher shortage out here right now. So there's some pretty big incentives. But you know what? Here's the thing. With incentives, like they have bonuses for the only thing is, this is what I understand. And you can probably speak to this better than I can. What I understand is that there is a tenure problem here. There's a problem with sort of a lot of teachers in the system have aged out of the system. They've either retired or they're moving on to other things, or it's just too expensive to live here. And there's not enough teachers behind them to fill all the vacancies. So they rely on a lot of substitute teachers. They rely on a lot of people that actually don't have teaching credentials, but just have, basic degrees. And they are putting them in semi-permanent positions around the state because there's just not enough teachers. Yeah. And so there's plenty of opportunity. That's not lacking. What is the problem is people come out here and think, well, I'm going to go live in Hawaii. It's going to be awesome. And they get out here and they realize really fast, one, you are on an island. You're not on Martha's Vineyard. You're not on an island that you can hop on a ferry and go home to. And you're like, oh yeah, I can go hang out. You are on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And you really have to stop and take a breath about that because it's big. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you have to really be at home and comfortable with the idea that home and hearth is everything here. So there's no nightclubs. For as much as there's tourist mecca here, it's like huge draws for massive amounts of tourists. There isn't much to do from the local perspective. And so you get real comfortable hanging out with friends, doing your Netflix, doing the things that are sort of comfortable to your environment. Social groups out here are really big. But people don't take that stuff into consideration. It's amazing. I heard once that the average person that moves to Hawaii, if they come from the mainland, that 4 out of 7 of them will leave in the first 18 months.
Wow.
Because they get out here and they think it's going to be one way, and it really isn't. You know, all I can say is if you're comfortable with yourself, if your home and your social circles that you can build up out here are enough for you, and you don't need the constant distraction of the quote unquote city, then this might be the place for you. But if your idea is not Saturday at the beach with some friends and, you know, maybe some fishing poles and some whatever, this might not be the place for you. It sounds idyllic, but honestly, it's a tough mindset to get into.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just got a message from the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce. They want to hire you to drum up interest in down there. Wow.
Listen, we need good people on Maui. We really do. Maui is one of those islands that's like, I think I just said this. There's 144,000 people that live on this entire island. Like, that's so tiny. I grew up in a town that was bigger than that.
Yeah, my block is bigger than that.
Yeah, see, when you think about it, it's like it's such a tiny fraction of people. But at any one time, the population of this island can be close to 1 million because of the tourists and the people that have timeshares and things like that. But they don't live here. So, I mean, it feels busy sometimes, even though it's not busy like with the things that local people are doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense.
So if you want to come out and visit. Come hang out, you know, you can I'll give you a grand tour, and you can decide for yourself whether this feels like a comfortable place, but I would not suggest that you move to Hawaii sight unseen. It's just not. I could move to New York sight unseen because there's so much to kind of figure out about. There's so much written about New York. There's so much. You could almost do it. You can't do it here.
Wow, man. Well, that crushed my dreams, hopes, and aspirations of moving
So when you moving, Dre?
To Hawaii? Yeah, it may not happen. Ever.
Yeah, right.
Ever.
Thanks to Jen. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, I'm sorry to crush everybody.
She's the potty pooper.
No. Now I barely want to go for vacation.
I know, right? It's like
I'm not invested in that place. Like, what kind of?
I'm not invested in that place. No, that's the thing. The thing is, you're not invested here, so you come for vacation. You have a great time. You soak up a good tan. You get out there on the water. You see some whales. You snorkel with the fish, and you do all the awesome stuff, and then you leave. And then you go back to what you got to do, and you power through the rest of your life. We are in this place. We are the service industry, like a lot of islands. We are so service industry driven that we know how to take good care of guests. Every single person on this island is basically Lumiere.
Yeah.
wow.
You know who Lumiere is from?
Yeah, from Beauty and the Beast.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
That's one of my favorite. I might have to watch that tonight or fall asleep to it now that you just brought it up.
When you hop off the plane, we all sing "Be Our Guest."
Be our guest. Be our guest.
Oh.
Be our.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Better. That's yeah. Maybe I'll visit just for that. And
You do, and then tell us all about it on your blog.
the vlogs. Yeah.
See?
I released a video today.
Okay, if you know Jen, Hawaii's not really where she wants to be.
Where you want to be at, Jen?
Oh,
She
I
wants
don't know.
to be
Apparently, we're
in-
asking Kinte.
She,
I mean, because I was
She want to be where everybody
she
knows her
wants to
name.
be in New Zealand. And what they call that place?
Okay.
Hobbiton?
Yeah, dude, I'm so down for that.
Are there real hobbits there?
Hobbiton?
I think that's
I
what they
don't know
call
if
it, right? Hobbiton? That's where the hobbits,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Oh, that's where they filmed
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Is it true that they all like purchased a piece of land out there?
they did. It's still there.
That's dope.
that is dope.
Okay, so Jen, would you date a hobbit?
I mean, listen, the perks could be pretty good. You know,
the
food.
Never mind. I was about to say something funny.
They do got big ass feet.
You do got big, yeah. You do got big feet. I was gonna say that, but you said it. You beat me to it. Thank you.
See, I was thinking of the food. Wow.
Oh wow.
They eat rabbits.
What?
They eat rabbit. Yeah, they eat rabbit.
Well, only when they're questing to bring back the ring. I mean, how often can that possibly happen?
Yeah, they'll go to the ends of the earth just to get jewelry, so that might be good.
I mean, there's some good stuff happening there.
They get psycho over jewelry. They get crazy over rings.
Yeah. What's that guy's name? Are you gonna shoot me? The decrepit guy. The decrepit guy.
Gollum.
Gollum. Yeah.
Oh, Gollum.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny. I said that once, and like a real diehard Lord of the Rings fan was like, "Really?" I'm like, sorry, jeez. I couldn't think of the Gollum's name. It's not like I have Gollum on the brain. Jeez. My precious.
The Lord of the Rings is so important to me, a little bit like, you know, Gollum and his ring. That was the one time that I went to the Oscars. I went to the Oscars. Wow. Of course, I didn't know they were going to win, but I went to this huge party afterwards at I think it was at an American Legion Hall in LA, and it was the One Ring party, and it was packed. I mean, there were so many people, and you know, one of the podcasters was talking. Maybe it was Grayson. They were talking about cosplay. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't know cosplay until you've known somebody who is so into Lord of the Rings that they are willing to dress up in costume to go to an Academy Award ceremony. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy. It was awesome.
That is crazy. Okay, so look, I grew up watching movies. So many movies were like my life growing up, right? A big movie fan. Now, some movies that you saw when you was young, they hold up, right? As an adult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's those movies that you hadn't seen since you was like a kid or a teenager, and you're excited to see it again because it's been like years, and then you pop that thing on and you like, what kind of drugs was I on?
Did I like this? I like this movie. I actually thought this was good.
And there's a whole host of those movies. I'm gonna say something blasphemous. I'm gonna say something blasphemous. Although I love him to death as a character.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I feel it coming.
But I rewatched him as an adult, them Godzilla movies.
Oh.
They're unwatchable. Those Japanese Godzilla movies are unwatchable. They are the most dim-witted things ever. And I just remember,
I'm so disappointed in you.
I love Godzilla in theory.
Yeah, but not in practice.
Yeah, it's like when you watch those movies, because I remember, you want to hear something funny? So when that one came out with Diddy on the soundtrack in 2000 with the
that one? Matthew Broderick.
I remember we went to go see it and it was trash, right? So the sets had came out of the old ones. So I remember telling my nephews, you know what? That movie was trash. I'm gonna show you the good stuff. And I popped that in there. My nephew looked at me like, this the good stuff?
Uncle? Like, really?
I was like, wait a minute.
But
is this the same movie?
I mean, you know, oh, man. So we have done Cinema du Fromage for a couple of seasons, and a lot of the stuff that we do on Cinema du Fromage is exactly like that. It's like, you know, movies that you thought were awesome. Yeah, maybe they're not so awesome. Maybe they're really super cheesy. Right. And isn't that the point of Godzilla movies? Aren't they supposed to be that way? I mean, nobody was making Godzilla movies going, "Oh yeah, this is going to be an award winner."
You know what? It sort of looked like it's sort of the style was like anime-ish, like really corny, really slapstick, and it's like like the Power Rangers. That whole when they actually turned into Power Rangers, like that whole corny
and the
look.
And the kaiju actually came from Japan. I mean, like it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be that way. It was not supposed to be serious cinema. I love how we try to take the kaiju and turn them into like, oh yeah, this is super serious. Like, okay, everybody, we have to get our really super serious faces on because this stuff that we are going to make better. It's like, why are you trying to make B movies into? No, this is ridiculous.
No, I get it, right? I get it. I wasn't expecting Gone with the Wind, but it was like it was just so unwatchable. Like I couldn't even get into it because it was just like. And then you fast forward to the fight scenes because you say, well, at least we'll get to the fight scenes, and they was whack. And Godzilla's breakdancing and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this movie? Like, what kind of crack was these guys on when they made this? There's this one Godzilla movie. I can't remember it, but it's like this robot character named Jaguar, and it's like they team up to take on. I can't remember the name of that movie. That movie is the most cornball movie you'll ever see.
No, it's not. The worst Godzilla movie is the Godzilla movie with Godzilla's son.
Well,
that is absolutely the worst.
That was just an acid trip.
I did a live tweet stream while I watched that, and
we are dating ourselves.
It's hilarious,
by the way.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Dating ourselves? Speak for yourself. That's why I'm being quiet.
Well,
that's why. Like Shannon didn't say a word. She hasn't said anything about this.
So Shannon is about 4 years off of me. So
how old are you again?
About 4 years off of me.
No. How old are you again?
43.
No, try 6.
Are you that? Is it that big of a difference?
Yes. Are you the same age as my sister?
Oh, okay. Well, you 6 years off.
All right, because you look 76.
Yeah, 76. So what happens is those 6 years are huge because
they are huge.
Like I was saying earlier, like 4 years is the difference between growing up listening to Tupac and listening to Nelly. You know what I mean?
You are so right because I grew up listening to Tupac and my little sister listened to Nelly.
Right. You know, that's so people don't realize they say, "Oh, it's only 4 years," but that changes the dynamic of who you is by what you was into, and so I like to believe that my era was a great era for music and movies and TV and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like I was in the golden era of cinema and all that jazz. That's what I feel. I'm
not normal anyway, so the music I listen to now.
Also, the Godzilla movies were made in the 1950s and the 1960s. So I don't think you actually weren't in.
No. Wait, let's get this clear. I didn't watch them when they came out. God dang it. All right. So,
but you were still at the age where that was the standard for cinema.
It was still.
So it wasn't even like it wasn't that much of a difference when it came to how do you animatography? It's not animatography. What's it called?
You mean you? Well, okay, wait.
How they created giants and things like that.
Oh, you're talking about the.
It wasn't claymation. It wasn't Harryhausen.
Harryhausen,
It was a guy dressed up as a giant.
And it was like that, for a very long time. It was like that for a long time. Like even in Star Wars, it was how
Traveling Matt was Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Traveling Matt was Star Wars. They didn't even have awesome CGI at that point.
No, at all.
Yeah, but like movies that held up, that holds up or held up. Wait, can't talk. Please forgive me. I've been up for 24 hours, so whatever I say, don't hold against me.
Just crazy.
I'm just sitting here like we should have made the last hour a nap show.
You know what?
Just play nap music.
You know what? I should. Okay, so movies that like holds up. Fuck.
Poltergeist.
What is it? Hold up. Yeah.
That have.
Hold up. Do you ever write something?
Test of time.
Do you ever write something down correctly, but it looks wrong?
Yeah.
You're like, wait, is that right? It is right.
Or you could just say movies that have stood the test of time.
That stood the test of time.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay, movies that stood the test of time. Like The Never Ending Story, still good.
Yes.
When you watch
my kids watched that a little while ago, and they was like, "Wow, this is dope." So I know.
Very good movie. Princess Bride, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it holds up.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
Home Alone holds up. The first.
The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon.
I agree with that.
Yep. Your young kids now would like The Last Dragon, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, but you know what's crazy? Because we talk about this on Cinema de Fromage. What's up, Josh? Is when you watch movies like from a certain period of time, there's a lot of racism.
What's that? What's moving behind you, Shannon?
Oh,
is the window open?
There's a ghost.
Oh, I'm like, is somebody trying to come in her window?
I know. Yeah.
Fan is blowing and it's hitting.
Oh,
okay. It's like, oh.
Because this ain't gonna be like Scream. Like I'm gonna shout, yo, there's somebody behind you. Like,
right.
Turn around.
That'd be a good way to end the 24-hour. It'll book you. It'll book you.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm
doing the podcast version of Unfriended.
Now, like, there's a lot of like racism in movies, and like sexism. But the one thing I always point out is they had this thing I call the hysterical woman slap, where a woman is a woman like it's like them older movies, like especially them detective movies, where a woman is like being hysterical, and then the lead, he's like, and then she's like, oh, almost like, oh, thank you, you know.
Get a hold of yourself, woman.
And it's funny. It's funny because you watch it,
or they shake the mess out of her.
Right.
Get a hold.
Did Ricardo smack Lucy in I Love Lucy?
I think he did. Yeah. Like Chinatown, there's a scene like near the end of the movie where he slapped.
Oh yeah, Annie.
Yeah, he's like, and it's like, yeah, and it's funny. It's funny because you watch it and you're like, you wince now because you're thinking with today's lens. So you're like, damn, that was cold. Like he just slapped the shit out of her, like, you know. Yeah. But that was like common though. It was just like when the woman got hysterical. And it's like it seemed like these writers just for no reason just stuck those scenes in, just like maybe they was thinking about their wife, so they was like, yeah, I'm gonna put this in there. I'm living vicariously through Jack Nicholson, you know.
But you know what? This is actually exactly why we should never go back and try to erase this stuff, because it's a snapshot in history. Yeah. It shows us where we've been and how far we still have to go. Like, every time you see a movie that makes you wince, it makes you realize that, oh, hey, you know what? That stuff actually really existed. And it didn't just exist, like, you know, in your head. It existed so much that a writer thought to put that down in a script. Right. That's, like, serious intent.
And you know, it's funny. Like, I had on New Year's, I had an Eddie Murphy marathon. All right? Lauren's about to join us. I had a Eddie Murphy marathon on New Year's. I watched 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop 2. I didn't watch 3. I didn't watch 3. And I watched I watched Trading Places. And then
Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie.
Oh yeah, they're playing the hoe. Yeah. But okay, so I hadn't seen these movies in a while, right? Because I wanted to watch his early movies, right? For some reason, I just wanted to watch them, right? And so 48 Hours, I'm watching the movie, and I forgot, like, I wanted to hit Nick Nolte in his head. Like, I was like, oh, my God. I was like, that scene where he's all like, all right, you know, he says the N-word. And then he roughs him up, and I'm like, you know, I'm sitting there watching this like, okay. They had to throw that in there, you know. He had to get, you know, I'm sitting there watching this. But, and then in Trading Places, too, like, they were just so, you know, easily just, you know, saying whatever. But it's
Trading Places was Eddie Murphy's movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was his movie. So everything that happened in that movie was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Eddie Murphy sign off on it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It was a great movie. Those are great movies. All of those movies. I forgot how intense 48 Hours was. Like, it's funny, that movie wasn't a comedy.
What? Trade Places?
What movie?
No, 48 Hours.
No.
It was.
No.
And Beverly Hills Cop wasn't a comedy either. Yeah. It only became a comedy because Eddie Murphy was cast in League, and it just made it funny. But those movies are those are action movies, really. Or drama, dramatic movies. But he's just so funny.
Yeah, but he set the stage for movies that come out like Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, yeah.
Yeah, and what was that movie with Chris Tucker? All Chris Tucker's movies were pretty much similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to casting the comedic role opposite a main character became popular because of movies that Eddie Murphy's done.
Now, Lauren.
Yep.
Don't get mad.
Why?
You are, but you know what? No, you shouldn't get mad because you set yourself up as this representative. You are the representative.
Y'all get mad. I'm like,
you are the representative of black nerds, female nerds. So
hold on,
you got to speak. You got to speak.
Go down the wrong way.
You got to speak. Look, Jen gladly is taking. She's answering all the white female nerd questions. So now we're asking the black female nerd questions. So as I'm assuming, she's
quiet. I'm chew.
There is nothing like being on Indy Radio, and I have said this I don't know how many times, but I'm super serious. I definitely feel like the token white chick. And I'm totally here for it. Like, you know what? I'm way here for it. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was cool. But damn, sometimes it's like, okay, I just got to take a step back.
Jen is the white girl. People think she's funny. A real estate investor who makes a lot of money.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sir makes a lot.
All right.
But anyway, speaking on behalf of the black female nerd posse, what was some of the quintessential nerd stuff that you grew up with? Like, what did you watch? Like, obviously Star Wars, but what was popping in the nerd? Because this nerd stuff is new to me. So,
what era did she grow up with?
One thing about this nerd thing is that there are levels to it, and
it's like a Super Mario game.
Some of the levels.
Super Mario was not nerdy. It was cool.
Yeah, I know gangsters that played Mario. Thank you.
Sorry,
let's just air on that one.
I know Crips that put they Uzi down and played Mario.
A whole bunch of nerds from God knows when. They got the ones who actually got stuffed in lockers and all that bullshit. Will turn around like no. Very vocal about that kind of crap, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's like because nerd to me also means academics, and there's a whole lot of nerds that are into just the cartoon shit, and they don't know nothing about no academics. Like they're not the ones who are like, oh, I really like this thing in science, and that, like, to me, like National Geographic was my jam. I love that.
Oh, okay, me too, though. See,
me too. I think with like National Geographic, Steve Irwin when he was on, like there's just stuff that that I really really into, but you got some people who claim nerddom, and the only thing they can tell you is that they really like One Piece in Naruto.
Right.
And they know every little possible supposed thing about that. And, it's always that. And that's like, okay, what you know?
Look, I've watched documentaries. I can
tell you every Pokemon, and, they can't seem to read past the 2 grade levels below. And I think that goes to show what they're interested in, which makes it fun to teach because I take things that they're interested in. If they're into Naruto, we're going to read books on Naruto to increase their reading levels. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Kinte.
Is that a thing still? The Pokemon Go thing? Is that still a thing?
Absolutely.
It's a distraction. We had to ban Pokemon cards in our school because it was a distraction. It's a distraction, major distraction.
Detective Pikachu, when it came out, like usurped a bunch of box office records.
Yeah.
That's how popular.
But did you see it?
Crazy.
I was like,
it was
this
really
movie
dumb.
People like this?
It really did.
I didn't see it. I thought it was supposed to be a comedy. I was like, that's a DVD movie for me.
Although, if you're under, I swear, if you're under like 10, you love that movie. I know so many kids under 10 were just like enthralled.
You know what messed me up about that movie? Listening to him. Because like I wasn't a Pokemon fan at all, but why does he sound like a middle-aged smoking male adult?
This is Ryan Reynolds.
No, he's supposed to have that cute little voice. That's the only words he says is Pikachu. That's it. Like, why does he sound like? It freaked me out. I didn't like it. No.
I'm sure that there's like really geeky explanations for that, but whatever they are, those rabbit holes and subreddit threads, I don't read. So
maybe.
Okay, I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
But I do have an aversion to movies that I just can't sit through and give it any time, space, or energy. Mm-hmm. And I always hear, well, if you have kids, you're going to watch Frozen and you're going to watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and all of that. And I'm like, do I have to? Like, I don't like those kind of movies. I don't sit up and watch it. I like...
What would happen? I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, no, I don't want to watch it, and your child's gonna say, please, 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 and you're gonna say, all right, whatever, I'll just fall asleep. And then you start watching it, and you're like, yo, this thing is really cool. Like, I really like this. What is Elsa? Elsa can do that? What? Yo, like she just built a castle, like with her bare hands using ice. What? Like that's how it be.
Also, if I could just speak to the fact that, listen, Disney has kind of a hyper hypnotic effect, and I don't think that that's by accident. That's years and years and years of Disney perfecting the story to pull you in as quickly as possible, and their animation style is slick, and it is colorful in a lot of places, and the movements are meant for your eyes to track. Disney has this down to a science. But the other thing is, and because you know what, I was not a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out, and my kid was so into the Power Rangers that by the time that he was in, sort of his heyday, I knew every single Power Ranger. I knew every single I knew every single weapon they had. I knew their weaknesses. I knew everything. And it's not because I was super interested in it. It was because I love my kid and I want to be interested in what he was interested in, because that's how you express love to people you care about. Get interested in their stuff.
See, Maya
knows. The Yellow Ranger. My mother actually, this was many, many years ago. So, Power Rangers that we had was because we're very shit. Power Rangers was a show out there and it became a show here, right? So the original cast, the original 5 Rangers, I think just before Tommy became that evil good Ranger thing, I think just before that, that's maybe October or that Halloween coming up or the Halloween after, you're looking for Power Ranger costumes and there weren't any Power Ranger costumes necessarily available, and I like the Yellow Ranger. Yellow was my favorite color, so my mother would search all everywhere. There was no Power Ranger costumes because it wasn't licensed out, so no one made any costumes because there was no license granted to do that. So she went and we went to all these stores, these like Korean stores and stuff like that, and Japanese stores that had the educational stuff, because they also had like Power Rangers actually had an educational section. So this is how you count in Ranger 1 and 2 and crap like that. So
this is the beginning, because when they first came to America, all right, they were extremely racist in the selection and casting.
Oh yeah, I know
the Rangers.
Oh yeah, I know the whole history behind that. I'm a big fan of that original and what it was. But she went and found every single image of the Yellow Ranger she could find, and she made an entire costume. And she made it from scratch by hand. Got all the materials. Got this type of yellow. Matched it all up. So by the time Halloween came out, I had a Yellow Ranger costume. I was the only one out there with any type of Power Ranger costume, let alone the Yellow Ranger costume. And we went to the parade. I got pictures and it was in newspapers and all kinds of stuff, because she actually made this shit from scratch and it looked really damn good, in comparison. So for me, that always has a special, place, for me, for that kind of stuff the stuff you do with your kid, because she worked full time. She didn't really have much time to be traveling and doing shit. When you like look back,
that's love. I mean,
that's pure love to do sometimes. It's like
okay. Let me ask this question. I don't have kids, of course. All right. And so Jen and Andre, you can answer this question for me. Okay, Frozen, whatever. I guess we gotta watch Frozen.
Let it go.
When can I show my kids? when can I show my kids movies like Scarface and without being a shitty parent? Like,
okay, wait.
On his 21st birthday.
I have an awesome
21st?
story about this. I just have a perfect story for this. So I have 3 kids, right? And they are 5 years apart, basically. So it's a huge gap. And entertainment for a 15-year-old is not the same as entertainment for a 5-year-old. And
they don't want you to believe that.
Well, the older 2 were watching Kill Bill, okay? And it was a big thing because I didn't really want them to watch it. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe you're ready. And the youngest walked in and was so traumatized by Kill Bill that to this day, she never lets me live it down. She says that the reason that she's so afraid of this situation and that situation, I mean, she's laughing and stuff, but is because I let her watch Kill Bill. And but it really did actually affect her. She really remembered that as being, oh my God, I have to close my eyes. Really bad things are happening. So you can't start them too young because it really will traumatize.
When I
was funny though. Okay, I can't say.
When I was a kid, I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw all those movies. Yeah, I was young as hell. I was way too young, but look at me. I'm normal. I watched comedy specials that I shouldn't have been watching, and all that jazz. So I'm not saying it's a good thing. So don't take my kids I don't have yet. But I'm just saying though, like, that's the fun part is when you start showing them the real cinema, like real movies, like the movies you really love. Forget Frozen and all of that jazz.
There's cognitive levels, and also childhood development, or early childhood development especially, has come a really long way in sort of recognizing that cognitive development in certain stages. The reason you don't show kids a lot of hyper-violent stuff in their very early age is not because the kids who grew up before them didn't turn out okay. It's because we recognize that there's a better way to handle this, and this leads to
my parents
better
didn't sit me down.
adults.
Let me make it clear. My parents didn't sit me down and show me Halloween and and Nightmare on Elm Street and all that. They didn't know I was probably watching that.
See,
but but I mean I'm fine.
There's
little Johnny.
So arachnophobia, and I've always had an issue with spiders.
That movie was funny though. That movie, John Goodman made that movie funny.
I can't watch that.
I laughed in that movie.
Okay,
I can't watch it.
Okay,
you know what always did for me?
I used to have conversations with a spider, fearing that it would come down and bite me. So,
because I didn't
those scenes where they just came all the way down.
What's up, Boogie?
You know how in the 80s you had all these like horror flicks that had to do with camping, like camps,
right?
Sleepaway camps.
Yeah.
Like to this day, like I've never slept away at a sleepaway camp ever for that reason. Right, I had opportunities to go to sleepaway camp, and I would not go. What's going on, Boogie? And until this day, right, I probably wouldn't send my kids away to sleepaway camp because of it. I think I did it one time because it was a basketball camp, but like there was so many movies that I watched as a kid that I wasn't supposed to watch. I was supposed to be sleeping, but my god sister, who's older, was watching it, and I was like had the covers over my head, peeking through, messed me up. I mean, I also saw the female anatomy way before I should have, because all those movies there was nudity and stuff. But
and I mean, if we're talking about
my parents grew up watching hack and slash movies. Yeah, we good.
Don't you think that there is like, and because there's no magic age to say this is when your kids should watch, whatever. But I mean, we have a basic reading system in this country. It's not perfect, but at least it gives us some guideline and says, hey, maybe if you are a young adult, this is cool for you, and maybe if you're 9, you shouldn't be watching people getting hacked to bits, because maybe you just don't need that in front of a 9-year-old's brain.
Okay, my 13-year-old nephew, well, he was 12. He saw Annabelle. I let him see Annabelle.
You let him see what?
Annabelle.
That is child abuse, bro. Like, what are you doing to this?
It's funny because he lives in Chicago, right? So he came and he saw Annabelle.
I don't do dogs.
That's why they like coming to you, because they already know they're gonna see all the things they ain't supposed to see.
And here's the funny thing is he was like frightened of Annabelle, and his mother, my sister, when he got back, was like, "Did you let him watch some doll movie?" And she was like, "I'm gonna get you."
Yeah,
he's fine. He's fine. A year later, he's totally fine. He's so
yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Annabelle. Like I would let him see Saw.
Scarred they are. It's like I have my nephew, right? So there's certain things that we'll see together, and it's kind of fine because we go to movies with them and everything else. But like my thing is like I like Pixar and Pixar things and stuff. I haven't seen Frozen, what the fuck they did with that, but like How to Train a Dragon, beautiful series, very well done, very fun. Like if you want to be an adult and like have fun and watch it, it's one of those series. Like we all saw that. We all saw those together. Let's see, what was the movie? Oh, you're gonna love this later, but a movie I would not let him see was Deadpool when it came out, because we went to the movie to go see it, and they were like, me and my mother went to go see it first. We were like, okay, how it was going to, how it was going to go. Yeah. We saw it, we were like, well, hell, we almost brought my nephew. If it wasn't for the fact that he had, went away, he would have been in the movie theater, because we didn't like. And then we saw it, was like, oh shit. a little. Like I think there was
brilliant though. That movie.
Yeah, well, there were like people in the theater who like had a couple of kids in there, and they're like, because you're like, there's some rated R movies that it's not really that bad. It's like, okay, it's Blade type level, remember? So that's what they're figuring. They're figuring, okay, this is going to be like a Blade type level thing, so that's okay because they're already exposed to that. And then you start seeing, you're like, ooh. Like, I see where the parents go like, oh.
Yeah. All right, you know what? I'm gonna name some movies, and I'm gonna let y'all decide if it's wrong to let a 12-year-old see. Okay.
And let everybody 1 for yes, 2 for no in the comments.
Okay. So we'll start off with Trading Places.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
Or
you fast forward. Wait, is she naked in that?
Yeah.
An appropriate 12-year-old?
Twice in the movie.
We'll block that. We'll block that scene out.
Then,
without the tits. No. No.
No, it's not just her. In the scene when he first got to the house and he had that party, there was like 2 other women bare-breasted as well.
We'll get rid of all the tits. All the tits are gone.
All right. It's funny. Like a 12-year-old. The TV edition, yeah.
The TV edition?
Yeah, the TV edition's cool.
TV edition, they take that stuff out.
Okay. Let's see. Weekend at Bernie's.
No.
That's my movie.
That's a great movie.
Well, what was wrong with it? It's been years since I've seen that. What was wrong with Weekend at Bernie's?
That's a great movie.
I don't need my 12-year-old coming up with ways to have dead bodies. No. No.
So if I remember correctly, the second one that they came out with was more child-friendly.
Was it? Oh, wow. I remember it was whack. No? So no Weekend at Bernie's. I think Weekend at Bernie's is benign.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
There's a lot of crossover.
It's not bad. What about, well, no, not the first, not Police Academy. No, that's pretty ratchet.
No, the first Police Academy.
Yeah, that's pretty ratchet. We're going to skip that one. All right. What about The Gremlins?
Oh,
That's kind of a kids movie.
For 12, I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a kids movie to me. The Gremlins.
My nephew was.
I don't think it's a kids movie, but at 12, I think you're okay.
Yeah, it's
well, my nephew's 12 now, so I think he can do Gremlins. Because what was it that he had? The first movie that we said that he came back kind of traumatized from was actually Rogue One.
Really, Rogue One? Because everybody died.
He's used to movies that even in the end there's kind of a positive-ish resolution, and you got the main character. And this one, you get attached, and everybody dies. Right. And it was like a big thing in Star Wars because this is the first time really that you see something like this in a Star Wars movie. And it was like, oh shit. Even I said, I was like, oh shit, they did kill everybody off. And then I'm like, I don't know how he's going to respond. Like, they went to take him, and he came back, and I remember him opening the door. I come to see him. Everybody died. Like that. It was like, oh. I was like, oh. Because the second time I saw him kind of get like that was watching Avengers Endgame, when everybody he came out like that. But the first real experience was Rogue One. The droid. Everybody, it was devastated. I was like, oh no.
My heart hurts for him. That's sad.
The reality of life. That's how folks felt when Bambi Mama died.
Yeah. And Mufasa.
Yeah.
Get out.
No, the Disney movies back in the day had a lot of death in it. It started with tragedy.
What's up, Norma? And
it's a trope
Marty?
that all the Disney princesses are basically orphans.
Yeah,
or one of their dads.
With single dads. Yeah.
Yep.
Every mother dies or something like that.
Okay, so we said Weekend at Bernie's and Trading Places.
These are old movies. I don't even know if my kids would have sat through them. They would be like, why are you showing me these really ancient movies?
Well, they from... Cause I don't know, the cool thing is showing kids stuff you grew up on. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. I love, my nephews, right? I love showing them, movies from, and their father do it too. So, I try to fill in what their father hadn't done yet, So they seen everything. I'd be like, "Oh, you haven't seen Usual Suspects? Well, you sit down." Actually, Usual Suspects. Would you? I don't think there's nothing really in that. Not really.
I heard it and never seen it. What the hell? What was the kid?
I think that might go over the head of a 12-year-old, though. I don't even.
Not my 12-year-old. My 12-year-old's gonna get it.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old's gonna get it. They're gonna be like, "This is a very interesting film, Father." He's gonna have his glass of wine. That was a very interesting film, Father.
Some of the best times that I've had over the past 2 years have been with my son watching our Cinema du Fromage movies, because they are sort of all older choices, and they're all things that he hasn't seen before, and getting to re-see some of these movies, it's actually been really cool. So there is something to it, but I don't think your average 12-year-old is gonna. I just don't think they're gonna sit through it.
Hey, my kid's gonna be heady. They're gonna understand cinema. They're not gonna watch films or movies. They're gonna watch cinema.
No TCM.
Cinema.
I raised my kids on TCM.
Cinema. Okay, they're not gonna watch the BS.
Educate me on, because I'm like.
So, all right, Andre, what was was there a rated R movie you couldn't wait to show your sons when they got the right age?
Was there other than The Last Dragon? I think that was the only one.
Last Dragon. That's a good one. You could show a 12-year-old The Last Dragon.
Yeah, you could. Yep.
I don't know anything about the Last Dragon. Yeah, isn't it the 25th or 45th anniversary or some shit like that of it? Or 25th anniversary.
That movie holds up. Even Shannon.
30 year. It was a 30-year anniversary.
Shannon would like.
30. No, it will be 30 because it came out in 1984.
Yeah, we almost actually reviewed that. We were going to review that on the show today, but I couldn't get what's his face, so we never got around to setting that up because we had to rewatch it and stuff. We were going to review it, but we'll do it on another thing.
Yo, let me know because I want to.
Oh, cool. All right, that's what's up.
One of my time favorites.
Okay, so before we
that and Lean on Me.
Lean on Me, yes.
Yeah, I wanted them to see Lean on Me.
Yes, Morgan Freeman, man.
That's a good one.
You know, Morgan Freeman.
That is a good movie.
You know, Morgan Freeman has an interesting job in Hollywood as the old black guy. You know, he's like the old black guy. It's like when they're doing something and it's like, we need an old black guy, call Morgan Freeman. So, like, I wonder who's going to take his place when he's like no longer, you know, able to do it. Like, remember it was James Earl Jones, but then he
eventually
kinda,
Will Smith will take that role.
Will Smith, I think he got a while.
You know what? Yeah, probably.
The old black guy
voice.
That'd be so weird.
He does have the.
I'm gonna feel old.
Morgan Freeman is awesome in that power role as Bruce Almighty, where he actually plays God.
Right.
That is my favorite, and I don't mean like there's not a million Morgan Freeman roles that are better than that, but that is my favorite role to see Morgan Freeman just own, because I totally believe he is God in that one.
He's coming out with like a documentary on Netflix or Amazon Prime that's about discovering God.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that was really good too. I saw that. It was on Discovery Channel or History Channel, one of them, Discovery or History, and it was actually really good.
It's like the modern day George Burns.
Yeah.
So
it was really good.
Just listening to talk is amazing.
What about TV shows that you guys came up on
for kids?
Yeah.
My show.
Olaf said I'm going to replace Morgan Freeman. Hilarious. Now, some of the shows. See, my thing is, I love shows with great theme songs. And you know, one thing, they didn't have DVRs right back in the day, so if you didn't catch the pilot, you wouldn't know what the show's about unless it was in the theme song. And probably the best theme song that, like, I didn't even see the pilot of Gilligan's Island. Like, I never seen the pilot till way later. And then, but you knew what happened in the pilot because the damn theme song is the pilot. You know, it tells you the whole story, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one day I was about to leave the house. And the pilot for Gilligan's Island was coming on. And I had never seen it. And I literally stopped to watch it because I was like, because I had never seen it before. And I actually checked that out. But Gilligan's Island had a great theme song. I had a debate. The Jeffersons. But you know who has the coolest instrumental theme song?
Who's that?
Sanford and Son.
Knight Rider? Okay.
Ooh. Sanford and Son. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones? Are you kidding me? When that funk kicked in.
It's so iconic.
And then the crazy thing is, like, if you like just hear the whole version, I mean, it's like he got down making that, you know.
Yeah, but what's the name? It's similar to what's that show with Roger? What's Happening?
Oh, What's Happening?
Yeah.
Taxi, yeah. And then so the Partridge Family, hilarious, Banana Splits.
Oh God, Banana Splits.
Now one of my favorite ones is the Living Single theme song.
Yeah.
You know, what's single in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got keep your head up. But you know my favorite part of it though is the end. That's my favorite part. Every time I'm turning the channel and it's the theme song is on, I gotta wait for that part, and then I'll just turn the channel to something else afterwards.
Baywatch.
I never watched Baywatch.
I've never seen one episode.
I never seen Baywatch. I watched everything, man. I watched everything as a kid. Fresh Prince,
piano stuff going on now.
Fresh Prince was a great show. It's a great show. It's like that holds up very well too. You can watch those. Probably the show that holds up the best or one of the best is Golden Girls. That show is
always funny. It never will stop being.
Never stop being funny.
That show is way beyond its time, way before its time.
Yeah, them ladies really was hilarious.
And it wasn't on that long. How many seasons? Maybe
4?
2 or 3 seasons?
I think it was on 4. And then they had a spinoff too.
Right.
That was whack. But Night Court was a good one.
Yeah.
Remember Well, the World Don't Move to the Beat of Just One Drum.
Jefferson?
No, Different Strokes.
Different Strokes, yeah.
Different Strokes. And then what was the one with Emmanuel Lewis? The ma'am?
Webster.
Webster. I couldn't think of that the other day. Webster. Yeah, that dude was tiny. I think he's still alive too. I think the guy's still alive. Yeah. Unfortunately, Gary Coleman is not, and I think everybody except for Todd Bridges is dead. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's I think Mrs. Garrett. She died. Didn't she die too?
Years ago.
Because she was on there and then spin off Facts of Life.
Facts of Life.
Right.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah. Welcome back, Carter. Yeah, man, you went way back. The White Shadow. Facts of Life. Yep, that was dope. Remember Small Wonder?
Yeah.
With the little robot girl.
That only had 1 season, I think.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't on that long. Yeah, I remember the theme song too. Yeah. Small Wonder was good. Of course, Family Matters. Danny Redwine. And Perfect Strangers. Remember that one?
Perfect Strangers.
Which
was
the
which was a spinoff. Family Matters was a
spinoff of that. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
227.
The show wasn't even supposed to be about
Not
Urkel.
the White
It was
Shadow.
supposed to be about the mom.
Right.
The whole show was written around her character until Urkel's character got popular.
Mork and Mindy. Yeah, I remember that. Hawaii Five-0. Hilarious.
Have you seen the new ones? The new ones aren't that bad.
Punky Brewster.
I said that earlier, but nobody.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Yeah, Punky Brewster. Look, I watched that. Blossom.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Blossom. Yeah.
And then Silver Spoons. And then remember all the WB, CW shows. It was wait. Let's see if you can name the WB. No, wait. What was it? UPN.
Dawson.
Wait, no. I'm talking about the little black movie, the black ones. It was UPN, and what was the other one?
Before UPN.
Before they merged, it was UPN, and it wasn't WB. It was what was it called?
It was Channel 9. It was Channel 9, right?
WB and no, not WB. It was UPN, and then the other one was something else, and then they merged into the WB.
It was WB. It was WB and UPN.
Was it? I could have sworn it was two different ones, and they came together.
No, it was UPN and WB.
Whatever you talking about.
Captain Kangaroo. Okay, so
ABC,
they had
NBC.
Homeboys in Outer Space. Remember that one? Homeboys in Outer Space.
Briefly,
they had Girlfriends.
Oh, Girlfriends, yeah, Girlfriends.
They had the Steve Harvey Show. I'm talking about the Steve Harvey Show, the sitcom. They had Jamie Foxx Show.
And Jamie Foxx Show, yeah, because they were on separate networks.
And then they had we're happy and we're color. Give me a high five. The Wayans Brothers. The Wayans Brothers. They had Moesha and the Parkers.
Moesha was on Channel 9, UPN.
Right. So yeah, we're trying to figure out all of those shows. Moesha and the Parkers.
The Parkers, yeah, same network.
What's the one with the basketball?
Mr. Cooper.
No. Not Girlfriends. What was the one where they were basketball players?
The Game.
The Game. There you go. The Game, and then Girlfriends too.
Oh, Girlfriends, yeah, same UPN 9, which they moved over to, or at least they have syndication on BET at one point.
Yeah. Am I leaving anything out? I think I got them all.
Yeah, so that era I didn't really watch TV
Me
much.
neither, but I remember. I did watch Jamie Foxx. I did like that show.
Yeah, because that was before.
The Wayans Brothers. Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Yeah, that was a great show. But yeah, and did y'all watch Full House growing up?
Yeah,
I did. Full House, TGIF.
Everybody did.
Remember they had
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years was dope. Remember they had this stupid show called
cartoons, because some of those shows were quite iconic.
Remember those shows? The show they had called My Two Dads.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah, that show. They had some kind of weird stuff. Now here's the crazy show. This was not a sitcom. This was a drama. They had a show called Cop Rock. Do y'all remember this one?
Cop Rock.
This show, you'll swear I'm making this shit up. Stephen Bochco, who was like the genius behind L.A. Law, Hill Street Blues, you know, all those great
21
shows.
Jump Street.
21 Jump Street was great. NYPD Blue. You know, sometimes when you're on a hot streak, people just kind of let you do whatever, right? And they let him do. It was a musical cop show, and it was so bizarre. Like, y'all never seen this one? It like lasted like 13 episodes, and it got canceled. And like literally, it would be like a regular cop show where they're just like, you know, hey, you know, we're investigating this case, boot to boot to boot, and then all of a sudden they just break out in the song and start dancing. It was the weirdest. I'm like, I gotta find a clip so y'all know I'm not BSing with this one. This one, it's so bizarre. This show, Cop Rock. Oh man, you saw it, right, Jen?
Yeah, it was like the TV show Fame, but for cops.
Yeah, it was so bizarre, man.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah, but
it also wasn't super well written either. So.
Wait, you said it was well written.
It wasn't well written.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you know, it's funny because now people try to go back and look at it, and they be like, it was, you know what? I think it was genius. Yeah. Reno 911, Out of This World. Yeah, there was some good ones, man. There was some good shows back in the day.
Musicals don't tend to fare very well on TV.
No.
How many musicals did they do on freaking Buffy? They did like 2 shows that they compared to musicals and.
Hey guys, it's midnight.
I was just about to say, I want to thank everybody.
He's cutting it off now.
I want to thank everybody. I love you guys. I love you guys. No. I love you guys. This was amazing.
I'm going to go to bed.
I am going to bed. I'm
hungry.
I did have something to eat earlier. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, supporting, and all that good stuff. You know, everybody that's in the chat room, everybody that has been around since the beginning, Buffy, Angel, and the one with Cordelia. You know, we'll be back with Mars Venus, not tomorrow. February. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's the first Monday in February.
Right. With all new episodes.
Black History Month.
Yes. And we're gonna really do it up. We're also gonna be, you know, coming back, doing our other programs. You know, we're gonna be talking about a lot of different things. And thank you,
Boogie.
Just
do The Witcher by herself, because that's a thing.
Yeah, no, actually, I had an idea for The Witcher. I had an idea. Okay, real quick. Witcher is a Netflix show, right?
Yes.
And it's kind of harder to review Netflix shows because you watch at your own speed, right?
Yeah.
So I had this idea. Maybe one day we'll do this where we'll watch one, then review it, watch one, review it, like that. Or maybe watch 3 and then review them or something to that effect. Because it's just too strange to do it any other way. I don't know. I have to figure it out.
The show the way they filmed it and did it was strange as well. So, or a little quite confusing the way they time jumped and you know where the hell people were and shit. So,
yeah, so it definitely takes some narrative expose.
We'll figure it out. We'll do it. Yeah. We'll do it like this week. If anybody's watched The Witcher and they want to talk about it with us, let us know and jump on with us. You know, who knows? I might play it before I
attempting to play it again. Then I realized I didn't like the playability. So I watched other people play it on Twitch.
Wild Hunt is amazing. I love Wild Hunt.
You know, it is. I have the game. I started playing it over again, maybe because I don't know the controls as well, but I still like the playability of other games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey has much better playability. Yeah. But it's an old game. Let's keep it at that. It is an old game, so you know.
It also, the The Witcher, the Netflix show is not based on the games, so we know that there's not going to be a bunch of side quests.
No, it's like
it's based on the books.
It's based on the books, and then you got it like even when I went back and did some research, some YouTubers that I know who like review that kind of stuff, and they start bringing it. They'll tie in, hey, this is what they for the books, and this is what this, and I'm trying to explain it, and then the stuff you understood better when you went into it versus the way they kind of cut it.
Right. Yeah, I got lots to say about it. I got lots to say about how progressive it is. I have a ton to say about The Witcher, and it's not just all Henry either. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on there. There's more than the bath scenes, I promise.
The bath scenes? Oh, I can't wait.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's what a lot of people came in here for the bath scenes.
Yep.
Oh
but don't
man,
worry, we'll talk about those too.
It reminds me of what's that show, Oz? Back in the day. That show, you had to let it record first. You had to let that show record first so you can fast forward. It was like, oh, they're going there. Fast forward. You'd be like, trying to see if it's done. Are they done? Okay, cool. And you know the show was good that you would sit through that. To get to the high drama that was on that show, but that was hard to watch. That was real. That show was very hard to watch. So but it is what it is. All right, people, I love you guys. Hugs, kisses, all that stuff.
Later, everybody. Buenas noches.
Lauren, we need to talk soon.
Hey, did one tomorrow?
Huh?
What?
Happy today.
Yes, it is now midnight, so you're right.
Yeah. Today. And hug Teddy P.
Good night.
he looks like he needs some people.
What's up, Kinte?
Huh?
No, you said my name, and then I don't know what you were saying.
No, I said we're gonna talk soon. So,
okay.
Not tonight though.
Thank you all.
All right.
4 hours.